Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to be here to moderate this powerful section with those distinguished panelists here. Today we are going to be discussing on the impacts of blockchain in a digital economy, the myths, the truths, and the opportunities.
My DG, the chairman, board of management for NITDA, and also chairman, board of NIMSI, our fellow colleagues from the ministry and all other agencies, particularly for this session, our distinguished guests from the blockchain community, fellow participants, ladies and gentlemen. Because of time, I think I will just have to be brief. What happens is we started in the morning, and my DG has set the scene. The scene which was, of course, built upon by the two speakers, keynote speakers that have, presented their speech, as well as the guest speaker. The key thing about blockchain is trust. And trust underlies everything. And that is why we at the National Information Technology Development Agency, particularly relating to this particular session, impact of blockchain on the digital economy, the myth, the truth, and the opportunities, felt it necessary, to have as the regulatory arm of the Federal Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy, particularly responsible for information technology, digital technologies, felt it necessary to have regulatory instruments. The key regulatory instrument that we have come up with is the National Blockchain Adoption Strategy. The National Blockchain Adoption Strategy, as DG has already, highlighted, is key to the development and adoption of blockchain technology in Nigeria. One key thing about the document, the framework, is the establishment of a consortium, building on ensuring that we have ambassadors that will push the adoption of the technology in Nigeria, and the creation of awareness and capacity development. Now, this particular program, as you can see, is one of the initiatives that is aimed at creating that awareness. So awareness is key. You cannot, just as we have been saying, we have challenges. Of course, the myth, we'll come on to the myth, I'm sure, in the discussion, as well as the truth. We have heard about the truth, because right from the morning that we started, the keynote speakers have talked about the truth about the blockchain technology. It is a technology that has specific features that makes it truthful, trustworthy, and transparent, decentralized, and that makes it a solution to a number of the challenges that we have, both as a country as well as the world at large. Ray has spoken a lot about what we are doing, what is happening in Nigeria. So this particular session, I'm sure, will give us opportunity to discuss about the myth. There are a series of issues. The hype that were identified were some of the myths that are related to that. One is the issue of, taking blockchain as cryptocurrency, which I think many have mentioned. Blockchain, cryptocurrency is a use case. It's a specific use case of the blockchain technology. But there is this confusion about it being blockchain synonymous to Bitcoin or cryptocurrency. Another key challenge or myth is that it is prone to issue of fraud. And of course, it's a solution to fraud and also money laundering. These are things that I'm sure we have had already about, and steps are taken to ensure that we harness the benefit of this technology. So, as the regulator, part of the regulator, as we are here to provide the opportunity for this discussion and to make sure that we are all in sync about the technology so that we can make the best use of the opportunity and harness the potentials for the digital economy that we are planning to provide and then to build in Nigeria, so that economic prosperity, just as the last speaker has said, economic prosperity is created for all Nigerians. I think that is just what I want to just say briefly, and I'm sure when we go through the discussion, more will be discussed. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Usman, for that brief introduction on the meat of blockchain. Going forward to the activity of the day, I would like to hear the opinion of the impact of blockchain, the myths and the truths and the opportunities available, I'll start from Mr. Youssef. I want to hear your opinion, your view. You have heard the doctor spoken about the myths of blockchain. So what are your views?
Hey, everybody. All right. Yeah, so there's a lot of myths in this business. And the biggest myth is that you can buy some altcoin and get rich overnight. And a lot of people have been hurt by that. I gave a campus tour in 2019 in South Africa and Kenya. I hope to be doing one here soon, inshallah. And I learned a lot. We were there to educate people about blockchain, but we learned far more than we taught them. And the biggest thing that I learned was that, there's a reason when I was talking about Bitcoin and blockchain, every student was looking at me with this kind of weird, very skeptical, wondering look. And it's because everyone has either been scammed in something involving cryptocurrency or knows someone that has been scammed, whether it's an MLM scam, like a OneCoin, an altcoin, a cryptocurrency mining scam. Let's face it, the biggest threat to this business and the promise it holds for the people is not regulation, it's scammers, right? That's number one. That's what we have to understand, and that's fine, let's accept that, but that's in the past. Now we can forge ahead with the future. So, when people talk about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and blockchain, in the West, the narrative is all about speculation. And that's toxic. It doesn't get us anywhere. It has hurt and burned so many people. And every time the price of Bitcoin spikes, there's all this energy, more people get scammed, then inevitably it falls. I've been through 5 of those cycles so far, and it's the same exact pattern every time. It's our job to make sure in that next bull run it doesn't happen that way. That instead of doing this, we get a nice steady rise up that is built on real use cases, right? So the number one myth is that cryptocurrency will get you rich overnight. Let's get that out of the way. Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, blockchain, all of this is the biggest social movement of all time. Can you think of any other movement in world history where there have been tens of millions of people around the world educating, evangelizing, and now here, using a new technology to help the world? You could look at the internet way back in the day, but it does not have the strength and power of Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is money. We are in the money business right here. And the money business it's the toughest business of all, but it is the business that has the chance to help humanity more than anything else. Because we will not have any headway on solving any other problem until the money problem is fixed. That is the truth. And we are here because we are talking about money.
Okay.
All a blockchain does is allows us to have an honest money system, a halal money system. When one person, if Faith here could create trillions of naira just at will, and we couldn't, then we're all Faith slaves, right? That's not cool, Faith, if you can do that.
It is. Yeah.
And that's the situation. It's not Faith. She's not the bad guy here. She's great. It's these people that we cannot see that are able to create money out of nothing. And a blockchain allows us to have an honest money system that is based on real work. Currently, the work that powers the most powerful blockchain is electricity and computing power. Proof of work is the key. It's what makes this thing honest. And it's a thing that we never must lose. You look at Ethereum, yes, Ethereum has a blockchain, but it's not based on proof of work. So all the talk about blockchain technology is nice, but let us remember, it is proof of work, which is the real innovation here and is what must be protected.
All right. Yeah. Thank you very much for that contribution. My next question goes to Mr. James Simmons. You have heard Mr. Ray spoken about how people believe or speculate that cryptocurrency would make one rich overnight. I want to know if you have a contrary view, to what he has said, given the market capitalization of, cryptocurrency right now, and also given the fact that when Bitcoin was created, it was sold for less than $1, and today it is worth over $20,000. So do you have a contrary opinion to what he has said?
Okay, thank you. Just heard about this, that I'm on this panel about 10 minutes ago, so let me put my thoughts together. Being a contrarian is simple for me. It's my state of mind. And, one comment about the blockchain. People talk about blockchain, and blockchain cannot be a technology looking for a problem to solve. Okay, that never works. The idea of cryptocurrency being the solution, the end all, I don't think is authentic either. Blockchain and blockchain solutions that touch the individual have the opportunity to provide a safe onboarding and value creation for everyone. Cryptocurrency is risky. A lot of people lucked out, they bought low, it went up. Many people I've known in this space never really expected it to go up this much, this fast when it was up to 60 grand. That was for many people, and many people who I know who held Bitcoin consider that they won the lottery. That is simply too risky for most people. Now, I do agree that our money system is broken. And if you study and look at the history of money and money creation, random money creation is always bad for society. Those closest to the money creation make money. Those on the bottom rung who it's meant to help suffer from inflation. Historically, when money has been created, back to the Romans, it's always had a negative impact on society. So there are some things I agree about, blockchain-controlled cryptocurrency, right? Managing the monetary supply. But I don't necessarily believe that everyone should go out and buy cryptocurrency hoping that it'll appreciate. Number one, most poor people I know do not have broadband access, do not have a smartphone, and do not have a way to buy cryptocurrency. I do hear about people with means being able to buy a home with cryptocurrency, but guess what? They were privileged beforehand, or they were middle class. I've met very few people. Actually, in going to conferences around the world, I haven't met a single person at a conference who said, I was living in poverty, and because of Bitcoin, I no longer am. So be very cautious. Look for solutions that impact lives, and the value creation will be there.
Well, thank you very much for that wonderful contribution. So we'll move on now to the next question, and this question would be going to Dr. Usman Gambo Abdullahi. This time around, I got your name correctly. Pardon me for the last time. So coming from the regulatory body, and today we're speaking about emerging tech, blockchain and how it will impact our economy, particularly Nigeria and Africa as a whole. So, and we already have a roadmap, a blockchain roadmap by NITDA, and we have the virtual asset providers framework by SEC. However, we also have another body, which is the CBN, and these agencies have different policies. So now, I want to really know, or you tell us, how blockchain technology can actually, have the potential to disrupt digital interaction across our economy, given that these three different regulatory bodies, have conflicting policies that have actually bring about, I would say, excluding most of our startups, that have bright visions, have good innovations, to bring upon our country and to solve problems that are already eminent in the country using the blockchain technology. How can this conflict between these three bodies, drive the technological adoption in our country?
Thank you very much. Well, as you are aware, yes, every agency of government has its mandate and responsibility. However, what you've said regarding conflict, I don't think there is conflict between the National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA, driving digital technologies, Securities and Exchange Commission, and the Central Bank of Nigeria. We have synergy, among the regulators, actually. And for instance, the National Blockchain Adoption Strategy that was developed, it was developed for us at NITDA, and I'm sure with time goes across all agencies of government, and as has been discussed here also. Our developmental regulation is, bottom up, not top down. That is what we do. We co-create regulations. So, the National Blockchain Adoption Strategy, I'm just giving that as an example, and that applies to all regulatory instruments developed and, issued by the National Information Technology Development Agency. I'm sure everybody is aware about the Startup Bill, Now Act, how it was created by the industry. You are aware, possibly, in the adoption strategy too, that the blockchain user group was fully involved. All stakeholders in the ecosystem were fully involved. And that is what, including the regulatory organizations as well. So, to reiterate again that it is a case of, I would say, misunderstanding. Why? Government have to be, as far as the CBN is concerned, it is being cautious because that is what government is about, to protect the citizens. And the Central Bank of Nigeria, when it releases those directives, is trying to be as cautious as possible in ensuring that Nigerians are protected. And that is what it is. And that's why you can see from the e-Naira. So, government is not against these technologies, but of course, as you know, technologies have disrupted a number of things, and I think it was Youssef that was saying that was it 6 years from now? When they grow up, they will not be going to the banking halls, and these are things. So for us, we have to work with all the stakeholders to see how best those technologies can be regulated, as well as share those with all other, regulatory organizations. I hope that answers your question. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and I hope that the audience as well have actually learned one or two things from your answers. So my next question goes to Dr. Ibrahim Dauda. Yeah, I want to ask you on the area of scams, hams, hacks of DeFi protocols, and I want to know what your views are or your perceptions are in blockchain, particularly in Africa, and what blockchain can be used for. Are there opportunities available? How can we leverage those opportunities, especially when people already have this perception of hacks and scams around the blockchain network and protocols?
Well, thank you very much. I think the first thing we need to discuss on this is knowledge and information. Like he said, people have this perception of, when you get into blockchain, cryptocurrency, you get rich overnight. And people go into it first, in most cases, without getting proper education and knowledge base of the functionality, the nature, and regulations around the technology, how it operates, and what it does, and the benefits derived from it. Secondly, that first one gives way to the high level of scams. No thanks to speculation as enumerated by Ray, which is common in the financial sector, from the stock market, the capital market, etc. Speculation is there, we cannot take it out. There are people who feed on it. But what gets people immune to most of this first is knowledge and information about what you want to get into. Secondly, what does it do? Blockchain is not all about cryptocurrency. It's a platform that can be used for different purposes. For example, government institutions. You have the Hyperledger program that have been discussed, different type of protocols have been discussed earlier on, which institutions can leverage on to put their processes on because of the decentralization of the blockchain process, which gives it that level of trust compared to the centralization process, which is more prone to hacking. The issue of hacking, cybercrime, and other related issues that create fear in the minds of people when they hear cryptocurrency, it's partly going to be managed not only by regulation but by knowledge. Blockchain has the trust element, because when people understand how it is developed from the architectural point of view, why is it called blockchain? How does it come to become what it is? The level of trust is high, but at the same time, the level of scam is high. So what NITDA is doing, it's very, very important, which is what is absent in a lot of countries. Why we have high level of scam initially is because a lot of governments did not get involved in the developmental stage of blockchain technologies. Individuals develop their programs, their protocols, and when it becomes functional, that is when some governments get in to the process of regulating it. And you cannot regulate what you did not participate in building easily. It takes time to understand the mechanism. What NITDA has done today is to get involved in the developmental phase so that the government will understand the process, the architecture, and the risk involved, the opportunities, and that creates an easier platform for regulation and process management. Now, to the development of opportunities of blockchain in Nigeria and Africa, the first thing I will talk about that is information management and knowledge from the government side to the people. Young Nigerians are out there developing, building their own systems, and then others are users of the systems. Others are regulators of the systems. The Empower program, for example, can be put on blockchain. The different programs done by the federal government of Nigeria can be put on blockchain. And the advantage of it is, instead of government investing in it, it can become a program that will generate its own revenue and become an interactive program within the younger community to create wealth on its own, just like Mr. Ray is saying. They develop applications, link into other existing applications, and create wealth. Trade, insurance, finance are part of government, supply chain management. Africa as a continent today can leverage on blockchain to create its own Amazon. Have we thought of that? Amazon is an institution or a company that has built, today we have the big data management, we are talking of Microsoft Cloud, Amazon Cloud, and the rest of them. These are opportunities Nigeria and Africa can leverage on. Because of time, I will stop here. Thank you.
Now, I think this is about the last question, and this question will be going to Mr. James. Looking at the 51% attack in blockchain, whereby it has that opportunity to mine, and again, it's usually, faces with the challenges. I mean, the network is actually, faced with the challenges of achieving finality. Now, I want to ask, what are the opportunities for SME in blockchain in Africa, particularly when we have, I think there's a recent report of a particular blockchain where one miner is actually controlling 51% of the overall network. When this is happening, are there still opportunity for, other SMEs, initiators in Africa, and what are they?
Okay, I'll do my best to answer that. I did have a hard time hearing some of your question. So, blockchain does represent an opportunity for Africa, an opportunity to leap the West. And that's happened in the past with technology, with telecommunications, where developing countries didn't have landlines, they immediately went to mobile. And they actually had a very high penetration adoption of mobile. So there's an opportunity to leap by adopting blockchain in smart ways. And there are some good applications of blockchain: ownership, an immutable deed. Unfortunately, individuals, families have had a farm for generations. A developer with connections wants to land, and the deed disappears. They're forced off their land. So an immutable record of ownership is incredibly valuable. Identity, credentials, but how can we use blockchain or hybrid solutions to really create value for users? How can we guarantee that every individual is banked? And that's the game that I'm playing and I'm speaking later. I want to bank everyone in high school around the world, eliminate the conversation of banking the unbanked. So there's actually a lot of power of intelligently well thought out solutions, ideally solutions that are based upon a vision, because it's visions that transform the world. When people try to solve a problem, that problem just gets a little bit, there's a little improvement year over year, year over decade, but for decades, people have been working on the same problems. That's an indication that they're probably not working on the core problem. So there is a lot of power in blockchain. There's a lot of power to intelligently apply it. A dirty secret in the blockchain industry, the companies that are public and have high valuations, they're not written in blockchain. They're not written in blockchain. The exchanges or Coinbase is not written in blockchain. Decentraland is not written in blockchain. But there's a promise to bring value creation to the web. Web3 is fascinating. Value creation to the web with Web3, to tokenize the web, to tokenize your life, to create value is really valuable, and that's kind of a hybrid off blockchain, on blockchain. And one comment about wallets. There are people I know, and you've probably heard stories, where someone forgets their keys, right? Can you imagine forgetting the password to your bank and losing your funds? So the solution then becomes, let's create a custodian that stores all this data, bringing centralization to this decentralized environment. So there really needs to be intelligent application of blockchain that creates value for users. And there's opportunities, and there have been examples of doing that. That's where, Africa as a continent and Nigeria as a leader will be transformed.
So right now, I think we have to welcome one or two questions from the audience. So if you have a question you have written down, I would like to have one or two questions from the audience. We don't really have much of a time. If you have a question, you can actually maybe signify by raising up your hands, and you can ask directly to any of the panelists. Okay, we already have two questions there. Sorry. Okay, I think any of the panelists can actually answer this question. One, it says cryptocurrency as a use case of blockchain will also the integration of blockchain to our physical market and services cause a shift service or product as it is in the crypto world with shitcoins? I hope you got that question.
Can you take it again?
If the integration of blockchain use cases in our physical market and services will actually cause a shift in our services and products as it is in the crypto world with shitcoins. I think a lot of shitcoins, of course, you don't really need to depend on shitcoins, because shitcoins are these days recording a whole lot of what we call rogue pools, where you buy most of these coins, and at the end of the day, you get the platform owners disappear and your money gone. So I really don't think the introduction of shitcoins will actually cause a paradigm change or a shift in our market or services and products. I think I have to answer that one myself. So the second question says, does the decentralization of the blockchain makes it more secure, or decentralization of it? Anyone can take this question. Yeah.
What makes blockchain unique is the decentralization of it. If you look at the architecture setting of blockchain, it starts with the design, and you have one peer or block linking to another, creating a unique process that is encrypted with a key that is partly private, public. There are processes there that are unique to the individuals managing them. The signatures are unique. Now, when you have 20 million people or 20 million blocks on a particular chain, you have, let's say, like Mr. Ray said, 20 million smartphones of individuals. To hack that platform, you have to individually go into every phone or every user or every block. It is decentralized. Every block has its own unique signature and control. Now, if you centralize it, which is what, as opposed to the present system that is being operated, you have recently Microsoft and other institutions are removing password from their systems. They're introducing tokens and unique encrypted protocols, similar to what is obtainable in blockchain. So the decentralization is what makes blockchain unique and difficult to, for hackers and other cyber criminals to penetrate. The crime-based process on blockchain relating to cryptocurrency, like Mr. Ray said, and he also said, is based on knowledge speculation. She just mentioned the use of cheap coins. People capitalize on ignorance of users to introduce processes, and people invest in those processes, and they take away the money. Just like whatever MMM, whatever scam it is. But when you have a secured, like the Bitcoin, the Ethereum, and others that are traded on Binance and other platforms in the world, it is secured and difficult to, scam, except if the individual is careless with his or her own keys. Like you said, you lose your key or your password, you have problem. You go to the bank, you can no more remember the signature you make. It's either the bank show you the signature or you go in and change your signature. But as long as you keep those safe, that system is safe. So centralizing and decentralization, I think to me is not an issue relating to blockchain, because the decentralization factor is what makes it unique and safe and secure to start with.
Well, thank you very much. That's well said. Round of applause. I think we just have to use 1 minute and few seconds that is left, to give our last thoughts, maybe using 30 seconds to answer this direct question: if blockchain has actually impacted the digital economy of Nigeria. So it is a question of yes or no. So just your last minute thoughts, Dr. Usman.
Thank you very much. Yes, I mean, if it is an answer, yes or no, certainly it has, and that's what we are seeing here. So it's an immense impact to the digital economy, to the Nigeria's digital economy, and we're going to build on that. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Ray, let's hear your thoughts.
It's a hell yes, absolutely. And there's proof of it everywhere. When you consider that the entire world is looking at what's going on in Nigeria, the CEO of Twitter is looking at what happened in Nigeria and is like, hey, what is going on here? What are these people up to? Everyone is coming here and wondering what's going on. Everyone is looking at blockchain, and before what happened here in Nigeria, it was really just funny money to play with, but it was the Nigerian youth that proved that Bitcoin, blockchain, can actually be useful every single day for real use cases for the people that need it most. And that is what it's all about.
All
Congratulations.
right. Thank you. Dr. Dauda, Your last minute thought.
The answer is yes, of course. If
Yes,
you look
certainly
at
there's.
it, yes. Yeah, no.
Wow, thank you very much. That's a very wonderful section, and I hope the audience actually enjoyed this section. And going forward, you can actually read up more on the course of discussions here. And I also encourage every one of us to think blockchain, think digital economy, and let us prosper together with this emerging tech. Thank you for having me.